Hello, 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 and welcome back to another NFL video. Hope all y'all are doing well, man. And I was not kidding when I said that we were going to do a quick recap of all 32 teams in the NFL. A quick under 10-minute recap of their season. I will dive more in depth later in the offseason when things really die down and there's not much to talk about. But quickly, we have already talked about the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And now we're going to talk about the team who was expected to do the best but actually did the worst in the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, let me preface this by kind of just talking about what they did last season and my expectations for them coming into this year. Of course, as we all know, they were dominant last season. They were one of, if not the best teams in the NFL. They won the NFC Championship game. They made it to the Super Bowl, had a very close, very competitive game with the Chiefs. They came up just short, but I mean, by all accounts, everything was looking up for the Niners. I mean, they had a young star quarterback who, through his first season and a half, was looking. I mean, he was playing the best of any quarterback in the league, at least statistically. Um, I mean, Kyle Shanahan, his rapport with the fans could not have been any higher, and they looked to be at the top. I mean, it was for me personally, it was the Niners, the Eagles, and the Lions in terms of teams who I thought could really make a run and come out of the NFC. Obviously, the Niners fell short. I mean, they fell flat on their face this year, and the perception around them has just changed drastically. So, listen, just like always, whenever the Niners underperform, injuries are at the top of the conversation. I cannot think of a team. Maybe the Rams are up there as well, but it feels like the Niners, there really is something going wrong with them. It's like every single year they cannot field a healthy team for whatever reason. Their top five guys on offense did not play a single snap together all season. And of course, that's referring to Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy. That lineup did not play a single snap this season. So they have an argument there, right? On top of that, Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, they played 9 games combined. So those are two Pro Bowl, all pro caliber players. So listen, injuries certainly play a part in this, but it's irresponsible to like pretend that injuries were the only thing holding them back this year. Brock Purdy had the worst season of his career, and it's saying a lot, right? He was playing at an unreal standard his first season and a half, and he looked human a lot this season. And it might be because he didn't have McCaffrey. It might be because, Brandon Ayuk, I mean, when he was healthy, he was not playing good, and then he got hurt. So Brandon Ayuk was pretty much just a non-factor this year. Obviously, I hope he comes back healthy from his injury, but when he was on there, he wasn't doing much. And then you got Deebo Samuel having a down year. Kittle was the only of the top five. Kittle was the only guy who was out there consistently and was playing at a high level. So really concerning there for the Niners. Um, like I said, Deebo Samuel did a lot of damage to his reputation this season. And at this point, even the 49ers faithful fans, who, like I said, were sky high about Kyle Shanahan, they are now questioning whether or not he's the right guy for the job. And I don't know how I feel about this. Honestly, it's like one bad year, can it really overwrite all that he's done? I mean, when you think of the Niners, right, I can think of 5 times off the top of my head the last 15 years where they've either made or won the NFC Championship game. Well, they've made it 5 times. They've won it, what, 3 times? So two under Kyle Shanahan, of course. So it's like one bad year. I am not ready to, you know, run him out of town per se. It's just, the concerning thing is that you had Brock Purdy. You had a healthy quarterback and they were terrible, right? That's the main concern here. Um, that's the thing I want to focus on though. Uncertainty, right? In one year, they went from the most dominant non-Super Bowl winner to a team with a million question marks. Will Charvarius Ward be back on defense? I mean, he was arguably the best cornerback in football last year. And then, listen, the circumstances surrounding him with the death of his child. I mean, it's just, man, the pain doesn't stop for the Niners players, man. It is truly devastating. But will he be back? Can they hold on to Juwan Jennings? He is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. He was their best receiver statistically this year, which might sound crazy, but with Brandon Ayuk's injury and Deebo not playing well, Juwan Jennings was wide receiver one this year. Are you just going to let him walk in free agency? Do they even have the money to bring him back? I'm sure they do because they're not paying Brock Purdy anything, but that becomes a massive question mark for them. What's in the future for Dre Greenlaw? His injury obviously kind of derailed his season. Do they look to bring him back? And if not, that's going to be a tough guy to try and replace. Can Brock Purdy, Debo, Ayuk, and McCaffrey bounce back? I mean, I haven't even really talked about McCaffrey yet. He had a what was supposed to be a minor injury turned into something that really kept him out for the entire year. So we have McCaffrey now. Listen, he was hurt at times in Carolina. He had like career or season derailing injuries in Carolina, but you might be shocked to find out this is the least that he's ever played in a season, McCaffrey this year. So, and he's what, 30 years old now? I'm not so sure about McCaffrey moving forward. Talent obviously is there. But we're talking about a guy with a list of injury concerns. Now is played the least amount ever in a season. I have major question marks about McCaffrey and what he can do moving forward. Um, who knows what they're going to do with their first round pick? Um, I think it's so many things you can do, man. Obviously, last year they got Ricky Pearsall in the draft. I think that was a really good decision in hindsight, even though I kind of grilled them for it in the moment. I mean, the Niners, they could go cornerback, they could go outside linebacker. I think pass rush certainly is something that I would look to address. Offensive tackle, though, certainly. Um, I don't know, man. I think if I had to bet money, I think tackle is probably a direction you want to look to. But like I said, I would not be shocked if they went in a litany of directions there. Um, they had five double-digit losses this season, which is kind of crazy. I mean, there were people, a lot of people didn't even think they'd lose 5 games in total this season. So to have five double-digit losses is really shocking. And of course, it is the most under the Kyle Shanahan era. Listen, they certainly have the potential to level up next year and put themselves right back into title contention. But as crazy as it sounds, I really wouldn't be shocked if they finish last in the division back-to-back years because they have more questions than answers at this point. Even Brock Purdy, don't get me wrong, he didn't play terrible this year. But if he plays at the same level he did this year, I mean, that's just another question mark. The way he played his first year and a half compared to now, it's night and day. I mean, it's almost unrecognizable. So everything, in my opinion, would have to go right because you would absolutely need all pro McCaffrey to come back. You need bounce back seasons from at least one of Debo or Brandon Ayuk. I mean, both of them cannot play. You got next to no production combined from those guys, and they're both supposed to be Pro Bowl level talents. I mean, you got nothing from them. Um, you got to find a way to bring back Jawan Jennings, and defensively, I mean, I just named three stars for you: Hufanga, Greenlaw, and Charvarius Ward. Even though he played, obviously, what he had going on. That's three guys from last year's teams who were all pro level, and now they're not really doing much for you. It's just a lot of questions, man. And listen, I love it. As a Seahawks fan, I love it. But it is so confusing, really. I mean, nobody would have predicted the Niners falling off as hard as they did this season. So certainly they have the potential to bounce back, but I definitely have my concerns. That's going to be it for this video, man. I hope you enjoyed our 49ers discussion. The Rams will be 2 days from now, so keep an eye out for that. And I will see you all in the next one, man. Have a great day. Peace.